workshop meeting.
Yep.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Marlborough Township Board of Education workshop meeting for August 4th, 2015. Cindy, can you please call her?
Yes, I'm a little behind tonight. Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Mrs. Dean?
Here.
Mrs. Ennie?
Here.
Mrs. Cow is not here. Mrs. Lou Riddell?
Here.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mrs. Matos?
Here.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Here.
Mrs. Wolf is stuck in traffic. Mr. Lalonsky is stuck in traffic. So, okay.
Okay, to bring to your attention the Sunshine Law, be advised that this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, Sunshine Law, and that adequate notice of the date, time, and agenda has been sent to the Asbury Park Press, and the news transcript has been posted and filed with the Marlborough Township Clerk. Copies have been also sent to each district school and other area newspapers in accordance with the law. I'll bring your attention to the statement of video of the public portion of our, the videotaping of our public portion of the board meetings, the public session statement, and no smoking on school grounds. If I can have you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and after the Pledge of Allegiance, please remain standing. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like us to have a moment of silence. Shall I read this? A moment of silence for a ex-board member that sat on our board with us, Mr. Murray Hoffman, who sadly passed away last week. So if we could have a moment of silence. Can you sit down to read? Sure. Okay. We have some nice things we'd like to say, and I'll welcome anybody after I read if you have anything you would like to add. Sorry, guys. Last week when we were notified of Murray's passing, it was a sad occasion for all of us. Mr. Hoffman served on the board from April 20th, 1993 to April 26, 2011. Mr. Hoffman will be particularly remembered as a former commander and member of the local Jewish War Veterans Post, and for his participation in many Veterans Day ceremonies held in the district schools throughout the years. On May 14, 2004, Mr. Hoffman received the prestigious New Jersey School Board Association Master Board Member Award, an honor bestowed only on those school board members who have shown a commitment to serving the public by completing extensive and rigorous training. During his 18-year tenure as a member of the Marlborough Township Board of Education, Mr. Hoffman used his experience as a former educator and administrator to provide guidance and insight regarding many complex issues encountered over the years. He earned the respect and admiration of his board colleagues as well as district administrators and staff by taking on responsibilities in matters such as negotiations, policy, school construction, budget development, student enrollment, curriculum, and countless others. He did so always with grace, courtesy, and respect for others, and his soft, kind voice, and he will be greatly missed. I want to recognize that his wife Kitty is here today, his daughter Patty, and their son Richie. Thank you for coming. I personally, when I came on the board, he sat next to Cindy, but I sat to the right of him, and he was so kind, and over the years became friends with him. And had him in my home and was able to sit and talk with him, and he was always, it's a sad moment. And I can tell you there was many people from the administration in the school district that went to the funeral and paid their respects, and they had nothing but kind words and admiration for your husband. Anybody else?
We were contacted by some family members yesterday, Audie White, along with Robert Lynn and Autumn Rittenauer, who want to donate a book to the middle school library in Mr. Hoffman's name. Mr. Hoffman was a longtime supporter of music and arts programs in the Marlborough schools. He attended the concerts, musicals, and other programs each season, along with you, Kitty, arriving early and sitting always in the front row. He attended each event with joy in his heart and Kitty by his side. Murray praised the teachers and the programs as amazing learning opportunities for children. To honor Murray, we have selected a book titled The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Jester. This book, published in 1961, has been added to Time's list of 100 best young adult books of all times. In the text, Milo, a young boy with little interest in anything, takes a trip through the Phantom Toll Booth to the lands beyond, where he meets an enchanting cast of characters that teaches him the importance of words, numbers, ideas, creativity, and enthusiasm for life. A memorable quote from the text states, "And remember also," added the Princess of Sweet Rhyme, that many places you would like to see are just off the map, and many things you want to know are just out of sight or a little beyond your reach. But someday you'll reach them all, and for what you learn today, for no reason at all, will help you discover all the wonderful secrets of tomorrow. Norton Jester, The Phantom Toll Booth.
Very sweet.
Nice job.
Again, Kitty, accept our deep, sincerest condolences. And you're always a member of our family here at Marlboro District, so if you ever need anything, you reach out and you call us. I know. So we loved him.
Yes, we did.
Moving on. For the agenda items tonight, we're going to have public session, financial and business operation matters, personnel matters, old business, new business, and public session, which brings us to our first public session. Is anybody in the public?
Good night.
Thank you.
Be well, Kitty.
I see none. Moving on. Financial and business matters. Dara, can you read?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. Memorandum of Agreement, Marlboro Township School Monitor Association. I so move.
Seconded. Debbie? Discussion? See none, Cindy.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Dean?
Yes.
Mrs. Lou Rudell?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Matos?
Yes.
Mrs. Zenny?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to personnel matters. Debbie? Please.
Superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. Number one, employment computer technician 1. I so move.
Seconded by Craig. Discussion?
Just a quick question, is this the same salary as the person who's retired? Or is this any change? Do we know?
How many years was Tim here? Sen?
2
Yeah.
years.
2.
Step 2.
So he would have been on step 2, correct?
This guy comes with experience, so we did give him some credit.
For the year he had.
Yeah, for the years he had.
So what was the difference, do we know?
I don't know
Okay.
what we can let you know.
Is the guide 1 for 1? I can't recall it in my head.
Well, they move.
1 year is
Yes.
1 year, so then it would have been because this was not Tim's first year.
Right.
This is my
So it's
second
not a
year.
promotion or a change from within, he was recruited from outside?
Yes.
So he's being brought in at anybody else who would be here but would come in at that level?
If they had the year experience, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Something we do for teachers as well.
Okay.
Was it a large amount or just?
No, it's
Remember?
not substantial,
Okay.
no.
Because I know that we move up the guide, I know it goes up, but I know it's not substantial amount. I
Correct.
just want the public to know it's not like
No.
thousands of dollars.
It's
No.
not thousands.
Okay.
No, he's on par with other people with similar experience who are already here.
Yes.
Right.
And this is something that you put on all the time like this. So if teachers
It's
come
like
in and they have
teachers.
years of experience, we give them some years of experience for credit.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Mrs. Zenny?
Yes.
Mrs. Lou Rudell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dean?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosenwald?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Mrs. Matos?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moves us to old business. Anybody have anything under old business? I see none. New business?
I have some new business. I'm getting it out. Just 1 second. I had sent Cindy a email today that I had received from a hold on one second. So did you remember her name?
Jackie somebody.
Yeah, I'm trying to
That's
find
the one
it.
you're talking about?
Yeah, okay. I received an email from a Jacqueline Taub, Jacqueline Taub, T-A-U-B. She had outlined, and basically that Freehold Township was going to be hiring teaching assistants from the MOESC, and she was asking whether Marlboro did. Now, I had known the answer, but I handed it off to Cindy to answer the question because I felt it was more appropriate coming from Cindy than from myself. And she was asking all these questions. It was really a simple yes or no answer. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the article that I'm really referring to is an article that came out of the Asbury Park Press. And it refers to this situation where Freehold Township is hiring these teaching assistants because they're outsourcing them. And basically what's happening is they're saving 20%. And if you go back and you read the article, and I'll be happy to send the article to Cindy so she can disseminate it to the board members. And the gist of the article is that by outsourcing, they have a first right of refusal. So they're not getting, MOESC is hiring the teaching assistants that the district would like to rehire. And by doing that, they're retaining the ones that are the best, I can assume from this article, that are they're pursuing long-term careers with the district. They're the best for the school district, but they're being hired at a lower rate, and the district is actually saving 20%. And I think that we should engage in a conversation as a board to see if this is a route that we might want to take. Because a 20% savings with the amount of teaching assistants that we have is a significant savings to the district. And I think with the tax increase that we just levied our, okay, I'm losing the word.
Taxpayers.
Thank you, taxpayers. I think that we really need to engage in all conversations where we could save money. And 20% is nothing to sneeze at. So I think we need to discuss this. And this is not something that would only be started in September. We can start this mid-year. It doesn't have to be during contract negotiations. This could be done at any time. So I'll send this to you, Cindy. And would you please forward it to the board members? This is the article from the
She
Asbury
sent
Park
it to all
Press.
the board members.
What?
She sent it to all the board members.
No, that was the email. I'm going to send the article
Oh, the
to
article, yeah.
Cindy.
I will bring up the fact that we did look at this a couple years ago when we were looking to, what did I take your thunder?
It's better
Well,
for
then
you.
I'll.
No, it's better from you.
We did look at
Give
this
money
a couple
money.
years ago.
Yeah, I know we did.
When we were in a financial situation when we reduced the salaries of 30% of both the drivers and the instructional assistants and reduced the health benefits. So the savings would not be nearly as significant as what Freehold Township would be having because
Were they full
they only
benefits
what's that?
They were full
They went
benefits
from
now.
full to
Well,
none.
this wasn't
They
talking
went
about
full
benefits.
to
This is
full.
hourly salaries, and they're actually dropping the salaries to approximately $15 an hour. And I know from negotiating the contract that the salaries that we're paying our teaching assistants are in the $18 range. So that's a significant savings. So I think this is worthy
Oh,
of,
I think it's worthy to look at.
I think
but
it's
the savings
worthy.
might not be as much because of the benefit issue, because the
Well-
benefits went from family benefits to employee-only
well,
benefits. So
they weren't discussing benefits. They were just talking about, according to this article, this was just hourly wages that they were discussing. So I think this is something
it's
that we
worthy
need
to look
to
at,
talk about.
absolutely.
You know, I think that, I'm sorry, you had a hand.
No.
I think that I would want to dig deeper, but I think the regional also does this by attrition. I think that they have an agreement that as people retire, that job then would go, so then it would happen slower over time, but it's a little bit different than what it seems that Freehold Township is doing.
Well, I don't think, I wasn't meant to engage in the conversation now, but I think that,
You can do it.
yeah, I think that we need to look at it and, look at all aspects, because I don't think we can keep hitting our taxpayers the way we hit them the last time, and I see that with the reevaluation, the way that scheme is, and with the referendum coming up, I think that we have to let the taxpayers know that we are looking at every aspect, every rock we have to turn over and look at everything. So,
We haven't hit them every year. I mean,
No, we have
I don't
not.
want them to think, since even we've sat here together, we, for years, didn't raise anything.
no, I agree with you, but this last time, people are rumbling online, and people are grabbing me, and they're showing me their tax bills. I know my taxes went up over $1,000 this time. I know someone just showed me their tax bill in the supermarket. They happen to have had it in their wallet. They went up $1,628, and they were not happy about it. So, I'm not saying that we've hit them every time, but people have been walloped on this tax bill. So I just think that people need to know that in this cycle, they need to know that we're going to look at everything.
I know, but, I said this last week, you weren't here when we were discussing this. My taxes went up. But the thing about it is that, I know I said it to Cindy, if we could borrow money the way the township's able to borrow money, am I right, Cindy? Can you see me on this one? So I just want to get some. If we were able to borrow money like the town is able to borrow money, we wouldn't have had to raise our taxes as much as we did. I know that the township's blaming us, but we had to do what we needed to do because we didn't, over the years, raise the taxes, and the well went dry. We could have even went higher than what we did, and we didn't. We were still, to me, conservative at the raising of the
But
tax.
this is not a conversation to point fingers across the street.
They're pointing fingers at us already, so we can't point
This
fingers.
conversation was not to point fingers across the street.
Bless you.
This was a conversation that Freehold Township is doing something that we need to look at. And that's all that this conversation was about. They're doing something that's saving them 20% in that area.
And we
Definitely
we
definitely to look at.
to-
We agree,
How about
definitely need
this?
to look at it.
And it's a conversation we need to this board, in my opinion, needs to put on the agenda to have a thorough conversation. And I'm asking the superintendent, would you please, if the board would like, to gather the information and bring the numbers to the board so we can have a thorough and efficient conversation.
Absolutely.
And not just poke at the windmill, but to really have a thorough conversation with all the data, which would include how many employees, how much would MOEC charge us, and have every bit of information so we really can poke it out and to really have all that information at our fingertips so that we really could have this conversation.
So you're going to...
Yeah, I'll reach out to Russ.
Craig had his hand up a second ago.
And I sent you the email.
Fine, thank you.
Just two questions. Do we know what classes or category of personnel this would affect? Would it be across the board, or is it just select?
Primarily, it's your special needs children.
Okay, and do we know, is this a negotiated process, or is this something they just have an agreement and we either say yay or nay to?
No, when you engage in discussions to outsource, which is really what this is, it's outside of the negotiated agreement. So it's not as if that contract language would go away. It would still be applicable if anything was ever reinstated, but you have the right to look at. So, for instance, your custodial, was outside of the negotiated agreement, right, Sen?
Well, the way we did it last time was that they knew we had the ability to go out and outsource, and they agreed to reduce the salaries in an effort to keep their positions.
Well, we met with them, and it was, we negotiated those reduction in
Mr.
salaries.
Lewinsky sat on.
So did I.
And Vicky,
Oh, thank God you did
and
too.
no, it was Paula.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Had the
Sorry.
pleasure of sitting on that and living through
And I'm
that.
not
So did
saying
they
you
change
should
from
do it.
employee status to subcontractor status, or no?
Yes, they would. They would no longer be our employees.
Right.
So then we'd have to look at, I guess, the tax benefit or not to making that change in terms of matching certain taxes that are taken out and all that. So I think it would be good, helpful to look at the article and then to take a look and see what kind of data we
Absolutely.
can pull together and just do
I know,
a...
Debbie. Oh, just let him finish. Go ahead, Debbie, go ahead.
Debbie, you didn't switch seats with Dara. I thought you
Go,
did.
Debbie.
Next, give us 5 minutes.
What I was going to say, I know Cindy said, covered most of it,
I
was
stole her thunder.
you did. But I am for looking into whatever we can, as we did when we came back from convention last year. We were blasphemed and talked about because we were trying to make sure that we are saving the taxpayers' money and making sure we cover everything. So I'm all for covering everything. But I will not base any decision or discussion on one article, and I will beg for you to send us more information than just one Asbury Park Press article, because I have read several articles regarding why outsourcing is not the thing to do in your district. And I remember when that all happened, and, those poor people took that reduction just so we can have our TAs here.
Who work very hard.
I just want to make sure that we have everything covered and not just one article. That's all I'm asking.
And let me reiterate,
sure that the
I
discussion
didn't
will go that
ask,
way.
I didn't ask us to base any decision on one article. So Debbie, you really need to listen to what I said. I didn't say base it on one article.
I was speaking to
asked-
Cindy when she sends them to me.
I
Just
asked
asking
Dr.
more.
Hibbs to pull together
That's great.
all the information this board needed to have an educated conversation, and nor did I advocate doing anything. I said this board needed to talk about it and to have an educated conversation about it based on what Freehold Township is doing, so this board knows whether or not it needs to do something.
I'll be happy to look into all the information. I will call Dr. Kaysen, who I am friends with, and I will get all the details and be able to report back.
And you mind, Vic, I'll just, and of course, any decision the board makes is not just based on dollars and cents. It's the whole big picture, the employees, and relationships, and everything has a price, but so does human people.
Exactly,
All
so do the
taken
people in the
Yeah.
picture. So,
And yes.
again, look at anything, but all the aspects have to be taken into
Well,
consideration.
there's cost and there's opportunity cost, and I guess we want to look at kind of everything,
Well, there's
the
human-
package,
human
to see
cost
what
as
makes
well.
sense.
Human costs.
You have-
I mean, they
you
took
know,
a huge
yes,
reduction
yes.
already. I mean, but
And they are a big
definitely
part
look
of our
into it.
district.
We never say not to look into anything, but I agree with Debbie. I'm sure you have resources that you can dive into and
At the same
Compare.
time, can Cindy do something for me, because I had asked for it a while ago and I never got it. It was quite a while ago, and it might have gotten by the wayside. In the last contract negotiation, we had given give-backs to, that had to do with what we had cut. We had given, don't look at me so skeptically, in the contract, we had given dollars back in insurances to the bus aides, and in that group that we had cut.
We had given them dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you?
to help with their insurance.
right,
Right. So can you tell me in the contract over the last year or two, since that contract has been in force, what the impact has been for those 2 years, broken down for those 2 years?
yeah, I can tell you even for this year, because I think I have for 15, 16, because the contract's for 3 years.
Okay, so can you tell me for the
Yeah,
3 years?
I can give that to you.
Broken down for
Yeah.
each year, what the impact was for each of the years? Thank you.
Okay, anybody else under new business? Okay, we're going to move to our last public session. I see no one,
One at a time?
so
Maybe anything executive tonight?
are we,
No.
do we have anything in executive session?
No, nothing for exec, right, Sin?
Nope.
You came just in time to do.
All right.
Poor Mark.
Well, thanks for getting here, but we have nothing for executive session.
Mike's fault.
So,
We were two
we're
miles
done.
apart.
Motion to.
Motion to adjourn.
Parkway.
Okay.
That's Debbie, seconded.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Who was the second?
Nothing adjourned.
Joanne.
Thank you.